I've spoken to a source close to Meghan who said to me, quote, she has the thickest of skin, which means that indicating that she's not concerned about any potential negative publicity or reactions by people when she comes here. How do you think she'll be received?
Well, the story is enormous. It's seismic. Congratulations on this scoop, which by an order of magnitude is the biggest royal story of the year. And by the time we get to the end of 2026, we may look back on it as the biggest story, because it's been years since Meghan was here and, of course, since Charles met his grandchildren. So on a personal level, it's massive. The occasion is significant because it's the countdown to Invictus. Now, the countdown to Invictus is a trivial occurrence. I mean, it's something Harry could have jumped on a Zoom and said, OK, folks, a year to go. Good luck. Let's go for it. Why are they all coming for what is a nothing burger? A clear message that the Sussexes want to be back in the royal fold, part of the family, and also some kind of public-facing royal role as well. I believe it's an act of desperation. Meghan is impervious to shame. So what you're hearing about the fact that she's got a thick skin tallies with everything that I've heard and everything that we've seen about Meghan Markle. She's a very driven person. The business enterprises are struggling. The broadcast career has more or less collapsed. Netflix aren't looking at any of their projects in any serious sort of, commitment. So therefore, the money's running out. They want to recalibrate their royal credentials. And this is a huge moment for the Sussex brand.
Well, that's it. With As Ever, do you think this could be a promotional tool for her then, coming over here? She's very divisive, though. Well,
I think she's fighting a losing battle with As Ever. Don't forget that Netflix ended their commercial partnership with Meghan to sell the runny spread. It's not even jam, is it? We've got to be accurate about that. And she's in a pickle across the board, really. But no, I think that it demonstrates that both Harry and Meghan need to be part of the royal family again. They need the optics, they need the titles, they need the status, they need the elevated position it gives them, because at the moment, we've seen that Meghan's popularity is dropping in the United States. So it's a great moment for them and a terrible blow for Team Wales. Prince William will be furious.
Well, on the point about the family, of course, this is a huge element of the Sussexes coming over. So I was told by my source that it's been a, quote, real point of great sadness for Harry that he's been unable to bring his wife and kids back to the UK safely to reconnect with friends and family. And he would love to introduce the children to his wider family to show them where he grew up. End quote. Tom, it's the first time, as I said, we've had the full Sussex family here since 2022. Now, things clearly are not good between Harry and Meghan and William and Catherine. But Archie and Lilibet are the cousins of Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. Do you think there's any chance that the tensions will be put aside and the kids could all get together?
No. I think will be seen. I think that comment will be seen for what it is, which is an unbelievably self-serving remark to say that, to imply that, there's a tremendous sadness that's just been visited on them, as if they didn't completely cause it themselves by giving interviews to Oprah Winfrey saying that their family was racist, that they were cold, that they were heartless, that they wouldn't, in his book, that they wouldn't even lend you a dab of lip gloss, that they made you cry, they lied about it, that they sold you out to the newspapers, that they sacrificed you on your PR altar, that your father was a sort of pathetic, weak figure who walked around dragging his teddy bear with him. I mean, the idea that this is some random cause of sadness to them is such a manipulation of what the sequence of what actually happened. I mean, I've been told very frankly by friends of William and Catherine that they absolutely loathe them. They completely blame Meghan for what has happened. And, we can see there's so much evidence of how close Harry and William were. Don't forget, before Brexit, Harry was giving interviews to The Telegraph, to Bryony Gordon, saying, my brother saved my life. My brother was the one who got me into therapy. He was saying, Harry, this isn't normal, mate. You've got to get yourself together. You've got to... Thank you so much, William. And suddenly the whole thing turns around 6 months later and they've denied even the access to therapy because it's going to be embarrassing or shameful and they're being sacrificed. I mean, there's a part in Spare where Harry actually says, maybe they only had me to be a spare body part for William. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely insane what he wrote in that, and to just expect that everybody's just going to overlook it.
Do you mean what Meghan wrote for him in Spare? I think she had a hand in some of those chapters. Of course, that cannot be proven.
That's very
legally.
allegedly over there.
Let's just say a hint of ghostwriting going on. If Harry did write the book Spare, then clearly a lot of the thought process was guided by Meghan, because I think what she's done is that she's inculcated in him a victim mentality. I think that's how she got him out of the UK and out of the royal fold, is to tell him, to get in his head, these are terrible people and you're better than this.
It's fascinating to have seen it all unfold, because obviously we don't know exactly what that dynamic is. And Harry himself has denied that Meghan was the driving force behind this. But as you say, there were interviews then previously which sort of go against what he said post-Megxit, as it were. So it's been... And you know what? Speaking of fascinating ways that it's all unfolding, it is almost impossible to fathom 6 years ago this happening, them coming over at summer with the whole family, being very excited about it.
But Bronte, what you're reporting effectively is the undoing of Brexit. You are basically... Megxit, sorry. You're reporting the undoing of Megxit, the undoing of the Sandringham Summit, right? The undoing of the agreement that followed that in 2021, where they had to agree to be half in and half out. Like, if you look, when they went on their Australia trip, they very openly told journalists who were travelling with them, we are now half in and half out. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do a charity event, and at the same time, we're going to put the clothes on an affiliate shopping link, and we don't care, and you can't stop us. And then, within days after that, Harry's popping up in Ukraine, saying comments that are absolutely a replica of what Charles is saying 5 days later in the joint session of the House of Congress. Charles put it in a much more diplomatic and I think really wonderful kind of way. Charles wants him back in the institution. Charles wants them to shake hands. Charles has got this new Deputy Private Secretary, Theo Rycroft, who's very much a peacemaker, also a friend of William's, I am told, thinks the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous and that Harry and William need to shake hands. It's so damaging for the monarchy, blah, blah, blah. And that is one way to look at it. But I think that the British people are not going to wear this well at all.
No, I mean, I think it's a catastrophe. It's a huge story, and I congratulate you on the scoop, but it's a dark day for the country. I mean, set aside the political turmoil.
I'm going to do the Tom Cruise thing, where he gets on the...
You've got to do it. You've also... We've got a political quagmire going on, potentially a new Prime Minister by the autumn. But this is a big moment for the royal family, and it's a bad moment. It's a dangerous moment. It's an existential moment, because with Harry and Meghan coming back into the royal fold, as you say, with the subtle blessing of the king, we have more material for Spare 2. This time it's personal, the follow-up book. More material for the second season of the Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix. More material for Meghan's forthcoming memoir, Meghan, My Story. They are feeding the monster.
It's such an interesting point because, look, as we've learned and exactly from your recap, you really can't rule anything out when it comes to what's been happening with the royal family, particularly over the last decade. But this era that you've mentioned about the Netflix interviews and the memoir and these explosive interviews, is this trip, though, a signal that is very much a thing of the past and they've moved into their, I don't know, quasi-royal era? Or do you think that there is the possibility that there's more of this coming down the line?
Well, as Tom has said, this will be half in, half out, which was expressly against what the Queen wanted. Queen Elizabeth was a very wise woman. She was a stateswoman. And she knew that this wasn't going to fly. It was just diplomatically and emotionally impossible to do that. And it's so egregious that, in particular, that interview, the deranged interview that Harry gave to ITV News in Ukraine, dressed as a burglar, in a beanie hat, like a criminal. I don't know what's going on with his style. But Harry's there in an unhinged performance saying, I'm very much a member of the royal family, very much a frontline royal. I'll be doing these royal trips. That is such an insult to the memory of the Queen. That is, as you said, it's reverse Megxit. It is tearing up a deal that he made with the Queen, who's no longer here to enforce that. The reason why he's able to do this now is because King Charles is a good man and a decent man, but irredeemably weak. He has a soft spot for his youngest son, always has done, never said no to him, always been harder on William, which is so unfair. If anyone's the victim, it's William, not Harry. And he wants to meet his grandkids. All of that has been leveraged by the Sussexes. And I think it's bad news for the monarchy and bad news for Britain.
But as you say, look, if the king has decided that a priority for him is meeting his grandchildren, potentially that is a driving force here. If they have, I mean, as you say, presumably he's across this and has given approval or wants to meet up with Harry, because of course this reconciliation has been underway for some time, and Harry's not
Clarence
going to do
House
anything.
last year is when it started.
Well, Harry's not going to do anything to ruin that.
And what does he do after Clarence House? He runs to Ukraine again. He loves dangerous places, by the way, apart from London. Yeah, he's very safe in war zones, but not in Mayfair. Make it make sense. And Meghan, by the way, can go to Paris, which has got loads of societal chaos going on as well, but not safe in London. But just to really look at the implications of this, I think it is a huge problem, because how much alleged racism is Meghan going to be exposed to this time round? Is someone going to make a remark that would be considered, here we go again? The pantomime continues.